Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Dr. Nicola, and this is Aspen Talks Health, where we learn about alternative healing modalities and how to live a compassionate and healthy life. Part of that healthy living today, we're talking about Bio-Meridian Scanning. If you are feeling slightly tired or just off, my sensations were tired, I was hungry all the time, and I was persistently sick. I just could not get over illnesses very quickly, which was not my usual. My life turned around when I met Christine Fredette. She is my guest today. She is a Bio-Meridian consultant, and we are going to talk about how this Bio-Meridian scanning machine can detect all the frequencies in your body and what's going on inside. Welcome, Christine.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure. I'm so excited. You've had a fascinating journey. So can you tell us you and your family's story?
Okay. In a nutshell, we're a family of 6. We spent 14 years in the woods in Connecticut. We knew about Lyme disease. My older son had gotten Lyme disease when he was 7. It was pretty cut and dry. As things went along, he was kind of chronically sick. Things just didn't seem right. We moved to Kansas City. My younger son got sick. Things just seemed to come to a head for everybody. We knew Lyme disease was involved, so we really went down that route, seeking out Lyme experts in Missouri, Colorado. We chose to go an integrative medicine route, but nobody was getting better. Still couldn't figure things out, particularly for 2 of my kids. So I just kept casting a wider net. Was referred to a woman who did Bio-Meridian testing, and it was amazing to me. I mean, I found it to be more accurate. We had done blood, saliva, stool, urine, every test you could think of. And this scanning gave insight into what was going on in everybody's bodies. And for us, it was like not just Lyme disease, but parasites that kind of hop on Lyme after Lyme that a lot of people just don't even know to treat, or they don't know how to look for. The standard testing for a lot of parasites is stool samples, and they are just almost useless.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
You would think that you'd find out some results from all this testing, but...
Oh, no. We spared no expense. We didn't get anywhere with kind of the typical pediatrician, went to gastroenterologist, endocrinologist, just asthma, allergy, and it was just kind of always coming up against a wall or just not being told any diagnosis or solutions. So it was really, it was very frustrating.
Yeah.
And we did spend a lot of time and money trying to chase things down, and finally this little machine kind of pointed us in the right direction.
Nice. Talk to us about the machine.
Okay.
So Bio-Meridian, what is it?
So it's a device, and it basically measures electricity in your body through different acupuncture points. You can measure almost the energy on different meridians, like different acupuncture points are tied to different organs. So it measures the energy, or like Chinese would say qi, in that meridian, and you could tell if it's balanced or if it's low, if something, is blocking or it's just not working right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I came to see you, and I held on to this, was a brass rod?
Right.
And then you poked me in different points along the meridian,
right.
my hand and my feet.
Right, but not with a needle, just with a little,
with also like a little golden kind of or brass rod.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating what it pulled up.
Yeah. And I think can be a little hard to describe, and it sounds almost a little woo-woo, but when you think about an EKG, it's measuring electricity in your heart, right? So it's not that different, but yeah, so based on the different meridians and how they come up, there's usually a pattern for some people, but then there's a software program with 40,000 frequencies. So then we go in and see why those meridians aren't running optimally. So it can pick up viruses, bacteria, parasites, dental issues, which are huge, heavy metals, really anything that's going on inside your body.
Right, because each one of those things have its own identifiable frequency.
Right.
Correct? So 40,000 this system has found.
Yeah.
and recognize.
Yeah.
And to explain, the meridians are channels. What are meridians?
It's almost just like an energy channel within your body where different organs are connected to.
Okay.
So, for example, every tooth is on a meridian that's connected to different organs in your body, and they run throughout your body. So it's, the machine almost is kind of reversed engineered Chinese medicine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when I did the test, it came back that I was very high in heavy metals and high in mold toxicity and the mycotoxins, which are their byproducts.
Right, exactly.
And apparently you explained to me that heavy metals, if you have heavy metals in your system, it can actually create a susceptible environment for mold.
Right.
Sounds like that's similar with Lyme and parasites.
Yeah, I mean, it's all related. If you have heavy metals, like Candida can overgrow to kind of sop up the heavy metals. The same with fungal issues. There's usually, if you have one, you're going to have the other most likely, but it's always addressing the root causes. And you had mentioned that you had diabetes, and there's one man who I saw speak at a conference who's kind of the expert on all things mold and fungal. And I remember reading that he thought there was a link between diabetes and fungal issues.
Fascinating.
So after you left, I flipped through his books, and I was like, yeah, this could be a real connection for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've ordered his book. Remind me his name?
Doug Kaufman.
Doug Kaufman.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to finishing that book.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other, so let's go through the list. So when you have heavy metals, what are some of the symptoms?
It could be fatigue, brain fog. One doctor attributes ADD or ADHD. He thinks it's almost always aluminum toxicity.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's one theory. I think there's something to it. So it's just a whole host of issues, and then other things hop on. So brain fog's huge, fatigue's huge.
Yeah.
It's just a whole myriad of symptoms.
Right. And then what are your recommendations for getting rid of heavy metals?
It depends. There's lots of good supplements out there. Clay baths are good for drawing out heavy metals. There's one website that I like, developed by Dr. Klinghardt. I think his supplements are awesome. Those are what I referred you to. There's gentle ways to do it, but you never want to have an overload where you don't bind the heavy metals.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I've studied that cilantro and parsley, to add those to your diet as often as possible, and that helps with detoxing. So my results with the mold and the heavy metals was exhaustion. Right. I was constantly hungry. Right. The craving the refined sugars.
Yeah, that's all the fungus and yeast. I mean, that becomes, and I try to explain people so they don't feel bad about themselves. It's like yeast and fungus in your body becomes the dominant organism. It almost acts like a parasite, so it dictates to you what you want to eat, and that's cravings because it wants to live,
And it wants to eat.
Yeah, and it wants to eat, and that's what it eats, all that stuff, that pasta, bread, pizza, all that kind of stuff.
Right, and then my sickness constantly. Yeah. I think that was also because it suppresses your immune system. Yeah. Correct? That's what I was reading.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, basically, it just kind of leads you towards eating a bad diet, suppresses your immune system. It gives off toxins. Yeah, it's just,
Right, your immune system is going to battle those toxins instead of healing your cells and keeping you energetic.
Exactly.
So the herbal pills that you recommended for me, which I found immediate results, was the olive leaf extract. I did a candida blend. Yeah. Oil of oregano. Yeah. Astragalus. Yeah. And then I keep forgetting the acid one,
hyaluronic acid.
Hyaluronic acid. Yeah. And that was for what?
That's just for microbes in general. It's very cool. It acts like as bait, so it gets them out from where they're hiding, which is a lot of time in connective tissues and, joints, jaws, into your bloodstream, and then the other supplements can kind of take care of them.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and that brings me to an important point, is including binders. Yes. Correct? So that if you're pulling these toxins out, you want something in there that's going to bind to them. Yeah. So those are, for example, bentonite clay. Right. Chlorella.
Chlorella, yeah.
Was there any others?
They're like activated charcoal.
That's right.
There are others. I think I love like the clay you take for a short period of time. Chlorella is my favorite. You could take it forever on an ongoing basis because it's not going to bind anything that it shouldn't.
Got it.
Yeah.
So my first experience I wanted to share is that the first 2 days I felt nauseous
Yeah.
and ill,
Yeah.
and it was awful.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking a big handful of all these herbs and supplements
Yeah.
at nighttime before I went to bed, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't kind of experience
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then the next day, within 2 days, I woke up feeling energized.
Yeah.
I was satiated.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
How
That's
quickly it turned
Yeah.
things around.
Yeah.
But my first sensation was ill.
Yeah. It's called a Herx reaction,
Yeah.
Herxheimer. So it's basically the die-off of all the stuff in your body, and you're going to feel crappy. And depending on kind of what load you're carrying on, will determine the severity, I guess, of the Herxheimer reaction. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because more toxins are kind of
Right.
being released into your system
Right.
before they get flushed out.
Right. Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to candida. Are they similar symptoms, yeast and mold?
Yeah, I think so.
Same cravings, same
Yeah.
exhaustion kind
Yeah.
of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And then parasites is a big one. Now
Right.
this, a lot of doctors don't know to even test for this, let alone the tests aren't effective.
Right. I think, if they do test for it, they're going to do a stool sample, which probably, I'm going to say as high as 90% of the time will come back negative. According to Dr. Klinghardt, there's no lab in the United States or Europe that can accurately detect parasites. It's a big problem because I think people can get sick. They know they're sick. They go to the doctor, do a stool sample. It comes back negative. You don't have parasites. Well, I can tell you that is absolutely not true. It's a problem, and it's just in general not recognized in this country. I think it's associated with not being hygienic or something. Like, it's silly. People are traveling more, our environment's changing. It's just going to be something that I think everybody's going to have to deal with and address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You made an interesting point to me once that the full moon effect.
yeah.
So that's one
Yeah.
way you can possibly know you have
Right,
parasites.
right. And I
Tell us
tell
about
people
that.
that seems like parasites come up right away. Do you notice that your symptoms are worse around the full moon because their life cycle is tied to the lunar cycle? So that's when they migrate from wherever they are in your body to mate, which sounds awful and weird, but people might notice that their anxiety is higher. They can't sleep, teeth grinding, more stomach upset. And, it's funny because I was talking to one doctor. He's like, oh, God, nobody ever wanted to work in the ER during the full moon.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you get every kind of loony. But I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's really almost an indicator that somebody, if they feel all these things when it's a full or new moon, they might just have a parasitic infection. Yeah.
My girlfriend has them, and she found out thanks to your
Yeah.
machine, and she was losing weight,
Yeah.
even though she was eating.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
doesn't have weight to lose.
Yeah. Yes.
And that was her symptom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, one of my sons he stopped growing. I think he was 13 and weighed 70 pounds, and this is years of me trying to figure stuff out. It was unbelievable. So the answer was, let's put him on growth hormone injections.
Sure.
They did absolutely nothing. Again, it's all about getting to the root cause. I mean, why didn't he have enough growth hormone injections? Because parasites deplete you nutritionally and hormonally. So it's very common for people with Lyme disease or parasites, their hormones are really off and depleted. But yes, because and some people just feel nauseous, they don't feel like eating. It affects everybody differently, but that's certainly a classic symptom. And one person said to me, she thinks a lot of people who are labeled anorexic actually have parasites.
Wow.
It's something to consider,
Fascinating. Yeah, they're eating all your food.
They're eating all your food, or you feel nauseous and you don't want to eat because you don't feel good. So
it makes sense for why people feel tired as well, because they're not getting the nutrients.
yeah.
They're not getting the nutrition.
Yeah, exactly.
My girlfriend also had breakouts.
Yeah.
That was one of her symptoms.
It's for different people, it's different. A lot of people have skin eruptions, and then when And some people, when they go on like herbals or parasite meds, they'll have like almost like little lesions over their skin. And that's how their body's getting rid of stuff. So it depends on the person. That's not for everybody, but that could be one of the side effects.
Very interesting. How does Lyme disease create the susceptible environment for parasites?
I think there's two schools of thoughts, and one is, people with Lyme disease, parasites hop on after. Another doctor I talked to thinks it's parasites first and then Lyme disease, but I don't know if it meant, but I think my feeling is that, well, Lyme disease just kind of totally whacks out your body, suppresses your immune system, and just creating this perfect environment for other things to kind of hop on. And I think that people who have chronic Lyme and have done all the things to treat Lyme disease don't get better because they have parasites that have not been treated.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
What else has the Bio-Meridian scanning machine detected for your clients?
I think dental's huge. I had one client who had, somebody referred her to me. She'd just been diagnosed with breast cancer, and she had a double mastectomy scheduled in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And I picked up dental and referred her to Dr. Yu in St. Louis, and he confirmed that it was dental, and she did not have the mastectomy. She did not do chemo or radiation. She had cavitations in her mouth cleaned out, same side as the breast cancer, by the way.
Right. Following that meridian channel.
Following that meridian, and we have kept in touch, and her tumor has shrunk just from doing the dental work, and
wow.
High dose vitamin C and that, but it's because it's treating the root cause of what caused the breast cancer.
Right.
And
excellent.
Yeah, no, that was so exciting, and it's it's great information to share with other women.
You shared with me once that you saved a client's gallbladder.
She came to me. She knew she had parasites, but she didn't know what to do about it or where to go. So, and it was pretty, I would say, significant. And they like to hide. They hide in, lots of times your liver meridian's off, your gallbladder is off. It could be your intestines. And she had gone to the doctor. I think wound up in the emergency room a couple of times. They're like, you have gallstones, you have to get your gallbladder out. And she brought the report to me, and I was like, don't do it. You have liver flukes, and that's what's showing up on the, I don't know if it was an MRI or a CAT scan. So she didn't, and she wanted to do the heavy-duty kind of parasite med route, so she went to Dr. Yu, and, she's doing really well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. What are some of the solutions for parasites? There are mild ones. I've heard of Parabigon you can get over the counter.
Right.
Right. Sometimes that's not effective enough. What do you suggest?
I think that you could either do pharmaceuticals or you could do herbals. I think herbals are great for a recent infection. I think if it's a long-standing one, I think pharmaceuticals are really appropriate. Dr. Yu's theory is that herbals can make you feel better temporarily, but sometimes just drive them deeper. So he does like a high dose, almost, I call it the kamikaze approach of pharmaceuticals. But for people who don't want to do that, there are other great options, like the hyaluronic acid. There's this one cocktail. It's called the cocktail. It's all herbs. So, I'll work with the person for whatever avenue they want to pursue and what they feel is appropriate for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your message to the community?
I think, if you don't feel right, there's a reason for it. And if you've gone from doctor to doctor to doctor and they say, well, your blood work's fine, it's like, well, that doesn't mean that you're fine. I think, you have to keep pursuing answers and to be open-minded and pursue alternate routes when you're not getting the results you want with traditional medicine.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they say it's in your head, fire them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like one doctor said to me, a Lyme doctor, he's like, you could go to all the therapy in the world about your mother, but if you have an infection in your brain, it's not going to help. And that's exactly right. Yeah. So, and if it's all in your head, that's just such a cop-out, I think, for a lot of, with a lot of doctors. It's like, well, I have these symptoms, and they can't find an answer. So they are very quick to go to the psychological, like, well, let's put you on anti-anxiety or let's put you on an antidepressant, and that's not going to help, that's not going to help you get better.
No, it's not addressing the root cause at all.
Exactly.
We have a few extra minutes, so I wanted to ask your opinion on cutting out organs. It blows my mind when doctors just cut out organs, like we don't need them.
I know.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's insane, and I think there's a relationship between appendectomies and parasites. I think people who have parasites are prone to appendectomies, and my experience was I had to get my appendix out, and the doctor at my follow-up, the doctor said, I'll see you back in a year for your gallbladder. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, they're there, they serve a purpose. I think it should be a last resort. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my mother's been helping people heal themselves of cancer for a while, and the biggest, through detoxes, by the way, green juices, wheatgrass, cleansing the body, because a lot of times it's just an overgrowth of toxins.
Right.
So your immune system's going after the toxins, and it lets any cancerous cells, which we all have in our system, because we've got 100 trillion cells, and some of them mutate. Yeah. It's normal. So all of that energy is going towards those toxins instead of removing the cancerous cells. Right. So naturally our body's used to cleansing ourselves of cancer, but if you're overloaded with toxins, so my mom's system is detoxifying the body and then providing it with adequate nutrition to support it to heal. Right. But the one challenge my mom runs into is actually family members who have been raised to have full faith in conventional doctors, and whatever they say is how it goes. And unfortunately, conventional doctors nowadays are only trained by chemo and radiation and by the pharmaceutical companies. Right. So how do you get over that? Is that you need a lot of willpower to
I think for the client, the one woman who had breast cancer, she was a very strong person and woman and able to kind of withstand people, her family, who only had her best interest in heart. I think, people who find me have already made the decision to go that way instead of this way, so they're a little more divergent thinkers, or they've gotten nowhere. I think we need to do a better job of educating ourselves about our body and not just eat whatever we want, drink whatever we want, and then show up to the doctor and say, fix me. We have to acknowledge our role in it all, and also, we're not supposed to be on all these pharmaceuticals. It's just not natural, and it's not the way we're designed. So, yeah.
It's if there's an illness, if you're not feeling well, it's your body talking to you.
Exactly. Symptoms are your body's way of talking to you, and it's unfortunately, I think, with the role that insurance company plays, it's like everything has to have a diagnostic code. So it's almost like doctors will only do what insurance companies cover. Insurance companies don't cover a lot of great therapies that are non-invasive, like, ozone therapy, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, that are really just phenomenal tools. But, for example, I did hyperbaric oxygen therapy with my son, hoping it would help with Lyme disease. And we met a man who started at the same time. He had an open wound. His foot was crushed at work, an open wound. It wasn't healing. He had a date scheduled to get his foot amputated. Oh. Somebody said, just try hyperbaric oxygen therapy. He did. After 35 sessions, I think, his wound healed. He did not have to get his foot amputated. And I'm like, you know what? He had workers' comp, but insurance wouldn't pay for it. But they would pay for him to get his foot amputated and to be handicapped the rest of his life. So there's something really wrong with the whole system.
Good point you make that it took 35 sessions. Yes. It sounds like a lot, but you know what? To save your foot, maybe natural herbal ways take a little bit longer, but they work eventually. You give the body what it needs, it works. It will.
I mean, a lot of the stuff is not a quick fix, but your body didn't get that way overnight. Right. So, there's a little more patience and I think compliance involved than there is with the immediate effect of a pharmaceutical.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the show, Christine. I'm so grateful to have had you. That was, honestly, this machine changed my life.
I'm so excited.
I am so much more powerful in spin class. I have all the energy I need for high intensity. My brain is clearly not foggy anymore. So I'm very grateful to share this technology and your such kindness, and you clearly have a beautiful inner like nature and desire to just help. And I like that you said that you come from the client's perspective.
Exactly.
Right? Or
yes, it's a patient's perspective.
Patient perspective instead of doctors.
And it's, in all my experience, we're a family of 6, so it was like a good sample size, and we did everything. And so I feel like I can help people save money and time and channel themselves into what will work. But I think it means a lot to people. It's like I was sitting in the chair you are now, and I know how horrible you feel, because you can feel so horrible and defeated. So,
love it. How can people reach you?
My website is chrisfredette, FREDETTE.com, or text me 203-803-9386.
Wonderful. We'll put all that information up on aspentalkshealth.com, and make sure you go there to subscribe so you get notified of the next wonderful, powerful interview that will change your life as well. Thanks for tuning in.